All right, so this is like the concluding part for our upper. This is the Adelaide project series. We are almost done with the upper, right? We have just concluded the sewing of the entire component of the outside material. So we are going to move on to the lining portion. Now remember, our lining has three components: 1, 2, 3, the shorts, the vamp, extended vamp, and the facing. Now for the sake of this video, we are going to make it just two components so as to reduce the amount of stitches we'll be running on the shoe. So that way we are going to just fix this part to this side like this, and with a paper tape like this, with a paper tape we are going to with a paper tape we are going to hold it together firm like this, and also like this. So what we want to do is to make this entire pattern one, right? Earlier in some other sections we already demonstrated how this will look like differently from how this will look like. So we are going to, then we will stitch it here and here, but now we are just going to make one stitch which is connecting this to this, right? Then thereafter this. Now let us draw the lining. We are using this brown synthetic material. It is literally called lining in this state and some other part of Nigeria, right? If you, the lining has to, it has a characteristic on it is that some part of it stretches while the other direction stay put, it doesn't stretch. Now looking at this direction, you can see, so let's tell if this one is stretching relative to the other direction. Now let's turn over like this and see. Now you can see that this part is stretching, right, while the other direction is not stretching. So whenever we draw our lining, whenever we are drawing our lining, we want to draw it in the direction that is stretching like this. So this is the vamp, right, and this is what the shoe looks like. So the lining should stretch from the back of the shoe to the front of the shoe, right? So it is stretching in this direction and not in this direction, right? So if we are to draw this pattern out, we are going to draw in this direction and not this. So it's going to be like this and not like this, right? It's very simple. Just get it at heart. There's a reason why we draw it like that. You get to see the reason when we start lasting the shoe. Now mark out all the inscription, or I mean the marks on the lining. They are very, very important. Yeah, you can see what's happening here, right? What we drew here. Can you? Yeah, I think it's quite visible enough. Then also we are going to draw this one. Okay, how do we do it? We are going to draw this one also. doesn't matter which direction this one is stretching to. So we are marking out every part of the lining. Yeah, so this is everything about the lining, just this and this. So we are cutting it out and we are sewing it right about now. So you don't need to cut anything with allowance. All the allowance is already on the pattern, so you should please check out the video for the pattern again and again, just to be sure we are on the same page. If you can't see this biro line that I used, you can use something else that will be brighter, or you rather better still, you better still use a brighter lining. Remember, you are not adding any allowance to the lining. All the allowance you need is already embedded in the pattern. So all you just have to do is cut as you have drawn. Alright, for this part of the lining, I just want to cut out with a zigzag scissors, size 2mm zigzag scissors, just at the edge, because this part is going to show inside the shoe and I want it to look, you really can't see it when you pull off your shoe, but just before lasting we can see it, and we just want it to have that feel that the edge is zigzag, nothing more. You can cut it out straight, of course, it's just the same thing. Alright, so we are going to gum this part to this part. So you can see there's allowance mark here, so this part we'll put some gum here, then this one that is going to overlay like this, see, so automatically we are going to put gum here, while on this side here. So let's quickly just do that. Okay, just very little, you don't want to add too much, just very little is enough. And you can actually use cotton bud to apply the gum. Let me put this one. Now another thing is this. For this part, we are going to apply gum on the edge right here. Yes, you can see how tiny the gum is. You don't want to mess the entire work up with a lot of gum, right? And you have to be careful with the surface you are using, so you don't have gum everywhere also. So for this part, just put your gum like so. Now while we wait for this one to dry out, we are going to fix this one. But really, it is just very okay to fix this one first, because it will be easier to sew while this side is open. So let's just proceed to fix it. Now if you look very closely, you see that there is this mark on the lining. Where's the pattern for the lining now? Yeah, here we go. Now you see that there's this mark right here. There's this mark right here on the lining. So, and there's like a center line here. So the lining should stay like this and fix to meet with this edge. So they are more like staying on the same edge like this, right? So that's the same thing we are going to do here. So turn this over, because this has to be turned over also. So the edge first. Okay, actually the center first. So just fold the edge, this entire lining, fold it together like this. Then you'll be able to get this part as the center. So lay down this part as the center on this very spot. So after laying it, you can press it from inside like this, just to be sure that it is already fixed. Now you go to the edges, and you fix one side, you fix the other side. The mark where you're going to fix it is already there. It's quite not showing very much because of the color, but I can see it very clearly. Yeah, you can see it very clearly. So you have to make sure that you can see what you're doing. Now this is what it looks like. Now this is the feeling we get when we use the tiny 6 scissors. There's no, of course there's no special reason, and it could have been straight like this. So let's get to the machine and sew it. Now we'll come to the machine. Now you want to sew on top of this side round. That's only what you have to do here. So let's just quickly do that. Yeah, all fixed. Now at this point, now we can now go ahead to fix this region right here. So turn over like this, lay this one like this, and use this one to cross it. See the lining, lay this one like this and use this one to cross it like that. Then you can come inside like this to stitch it. That is it. Now this is what the lining looks like. It is not rough, it is very clean, right? So because we used the paper tape to attach this part, I mean that part, this part right here, that's why we are having this continuous filling right here to join here. It ought to be joining here and joining here, but now it's just one, so as to reduce the stitching time. Now the next thing we want to do after the lining is to come to our upper body, the material right here, to fix something that we call tape. Now the other leg of the pair we are working on, it's already lasted. Now if you look at this edge right here, if you look at this edge, you can see that this is exactly, this part is exactly, you can see, of course you can see it now. Then the lining is inside somewhat there, but there's this little piece of material that is running across the entire edge, right? We call that material tape. It's usually very light and flexible, so we use a very light material that usually will not peel off with time. So to make that tape, we are simply going to measure the entire edge of our neck. Now we start from here, measure all around back to this part, because the tape is going to run all around the neck to where it started from. So using our tape rule, measuring tape, we are just going to, okay, this measuring tape is not the main one. Okay, there we go. Now let's measure. Turn to your centimeter part and start measuring from this part, right?